This is my Sony HDR CX405 Handycam, but you can't buy this one because I modified it so I can add filter accessories in front of the lens. This one has a cover that protects the accessories attached directly to the front of the camera over the lens. I generally keep a UV filter in front of the lens on any camera to protect against dirt and scratches. The basic changes I made here consist of this cover that attaches to the filter on the front. Cover just detaches. And then there's the filter that I've added. It's a standard UV filter. Is a 52mm filter. That's important for this modification because that's what will fit into the adapter that I had to put on the camera in order to make any of this happen. This is a great little camera. I really love it. There's a major piece of it though that I could have done without, and that's this business of the lens cover. You notice right here on the side you'll find there's a lever here that's labeled lens cover. The purpose of that lens cover is to keep debris from collecting inside the camera on top of the lens and inside whatever other works there are inside the camera that could be harmed by dust and dirt and leaves and whatever. Typically the lens is covered and protected pretty well by the cover that's inside the camera that you operate with the switch. Typically the lens is covered and protected pretty well by this cover operated by the lever on the side. And you see what it opens, it closes those leaves over top of the lens and then it opens it back up again. But in order for you to take a picture, you always have to reach over here and move that lens cover manually or leave it open all the time. But I don't think leaving it open is a good idea because there's nothing here to protect your lens. As it turns out, the 49mm end of a 49 to 52mm adapter was a tight fit over the front of the camera housing, which would allow me to use standard 52mm accessories, UV filter, polarizer, hood, etc. on this camera. At first I thought the fit was too tight, but after a few tries I managed to get it on without breaking the adapter. I anticipated having to sand the adapter if it was too tight, and I bought a spare just in case I broke one, but I didn't need it after all. This is the 49mm end of the adapter, showing the threads that would be used if you had a camera that had a 49mm thread on the front of it. The Sony does not have that on this particular camera, and these threads don't get used for anything at all. The important part of this is that this inside part of this filter just barely fits over the end of the camera that doesn't have any threads now. This shows the adapter already mounted on my camera. I have been using the camera with this on for a while to see how it worked out, and I liked it so much, but I'm never going to take it off again because it's epoxied in place. But what you see here are the 49mm threads that'll never be used. It's the inside of that thread combination that fits against the camera. Now it's a little bit difficult to see. I've got some glare on here, but if you look right here, you'll see there's a blob. You see that blob? That's a blob of epoxy that I used to hold it on there. And if I could get rid of this glare for a minute, this one I could show you where the other one is. I'll try to give you a better shot of that. It's a little bit messy. But right here there's a blob, and then there's another blob right there. Now to be honest, it fit pretty tight. And maybe didn't need that, but it didn't fit tight enough that I couldn't yank it off if I wanted to, so I didn't want to have it fall off on its own, so I decided to epoxy it in place. I often use various types of two-part epoxies, but I needed something that would cure faster without running all over the camera. Solarez UV epoxy and the UV flashlight I used when looking for air conditioning leaks cured fast enough in a few seconds to hold the adapter in place while the epoxy fully cured. I think you could let direct sunlight cure this stuff, but direct intense UV light seems to work fine while keeping the blobs in place. I'll include a link in the description. This is what this package looks like straight from Amazon. So to put it back together again, once you get this adapter glued on in place, and notice that you just simply screw the 52mm threads of the filter into the 52mm threads of the adapter. Tighten them down a little bit. And at this point you have other options, of course. I like a UV filter just to protect the lens, because I don't ever want to have the lens just open like that. I put on a regular plastic adapter on the front of it. I've also used a polarizing filter, and so you can just keep on stacking on 52mm accessories here. There's probably a limit, and one limit is that if you get too far out here, you'll start getting vignetting where the edge of the frame gets caught in your picture, and you don't want that. You could fix that somewhat by zooming in, but then if you don't want to zoom in, then that's a problem. So there's a limit to how much of that you can do, but you have the capability with these stacked filters just to keep on stacking out here until you get just about anything that you want to have on it. I like having this this deal here. It fits right on the front. It's kind of cumbersome because of the strap, and maybe I could do a better job of rearranging the strap. I don't know. Maybe I could think of something to do with that. But right now, that's the way it is. But as it is now, if I want to take a picture, all I have to do is pop this off and open the window to look at the viewfinder. One note to keep in mind, and I like polarizers for things when I'm taking pictures over the water or trying to look down in the water to see what's below the surface of the water. If you put your fingers out here like this to adjust the polarizing ring while you're running the camera, you're almost guaranteed to have your fingers in your picture. The answer to that, of course, is to adjust it before you start recording, or just take the fingers out when you edit after you get your photography done. When I'm transporting the camera, and there's a chance that it might get banged up or the filter get scratched or something, I leave this on. But when I get ready to be in a position where I might take some videos in a hurry, then I leave this off. I leave the internal cover open, and then all I have to do is open the viewfinder, and I'm ready to shoot pictures. I can't do that if I have to mess with this one on the side here every time I want to take a picture, but I always want to protect the lens. The UV filter, of course, it across the top here, if it gets scratched or dirty or smudged and it doesn't clean up right, that's okay, because I can just unscrew it and put another one on, and they don't really cost that much.